all the tools with the Jenkins? How can we configure all the tools with the Jenkins? Right? So how can we integrate any tool with the Jenkins? Anyone? For example, if you want to integrate GitHub with the Jenkins, so what we will do? Yeah. So plugins, right? So by installing plugins, what is plugin, anyone? Packages, softwares, right? Today we are going to start Git and GitHub. So what is Git, anyone? What is Git? It is a repository tool or version control tool, right? What is repository? Where we store our data, right? Which can be any data, which can be binary files, image files, video files, audio files, where we store the data. Is nothing but repository, right? And version control, what is version control? Anyone? What is version control? Yeah. Track the changes over time. Track the changes over time, right? Fine. So Git is a repository tool or version control tool. So developer develop the code in their local workspace. Local workspace, what is workspace? Where we start our work. Local system, local laptop or desktop, right? In local workspace, developer develop the code. So, yes. In local workspace, developer develop the code, right? Once the development is completed, the code will be pushed to the developer. They push the code to remote repository, which is GitHub. Remote repo, which is GitHub, right? Yeah. Fine. Now, let us go back and discuss about Git workflow today. Git workflow. Git workflow. Before going to Git workflow, let's try to understand how to install configure Git in our local system, right? How can we install configure Git? So how can we, yeah, so enable the Git bash. These are all we discuss first. Yeah, so Git kernel developed by Linus Torvalds. Git kernel developed by Linus Torvald. Git developed by Linus Torvald. Yeah, same guy developed the Linus kernel also, right? Git kernel developed by Linus Torvalds. Who is Linus Torvalds? The person who developed the Linux kernel, right? Same person developed the Git kernel also. So that is why we can execute the Linux commands in Git. Okay. Yeah. Now, let us go back and install configure Git. How to install configure Git? Let's try to understand. Yeah. So Git setup file is a small exe file that we can pull into our, we can download into our local system and we can install, right? Yeah. Now, download Git for Windows. Download Git for Windows. Yeah, you can search here in the browser, download Git for Windows. Yeah, git-sem.com. What is SEM? source code management. If I'm on slower. Source code management. git-scm.com, which is a source code management, right? So once you open this here, Mac OS, Windows, Linux, and Unix. Okay. So we can select the Windows. In our Windows system, yeah, we can download the package, exe file. Click on Windows. Now, look at this, everyone. Standalone installer, portable installer. So Git package is small exe file that we can install in our local system. Jenkins onwards, we can use the cloud servers. Jenkins we can install in the AWS server. Maven we can install in the AWS server. Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform. So these tools we can install in the EC2 instance. Okay. Now, standalone installer, portable installer. Don't take the second one. You can take first one. So here we have 32-bit Git for Windows setup, 64 Git for Windows setup. Two types of setups are available. So 32-bit, 64-bit. So which one we need to download and install, right? So as per your operating system version, we need to download the package and we need to install. Understanding, right? As per your operating system version. So here 32-bit Git for Windows. Yeah, let us, we can go and check in the, yeah, right click on this PC, open your this PC, right click on this PC, go to properties, and you can check your Windows version. See here, look at this, everyone. My operating system version is 64-bit operating system, right? Yeah, that is why we need to download 64-bit only. Don't download 32-bit. So latest operating systems, latest laptops, Windows 10, Windows 11 only we are using. Windows 10, 11, we are using 64-bit only, not 32-bit, right? Yeah, so better we can download second one. Look at this, everyone, standalone. Second one, which is a 64-bit Git for Windows. Click on this. The package will be downloaded. Yeah, this package is downloaded. Once it is downloaded, double click on this. Click on yes. Click on install. Once you click on install, Git will be installed. So once it is installed, it will ask you to finish that. It will ask you to finish that. Once you finish that, yeah, I already installed my laptop. That is why I'm canceling this. Once you finish that, right click on your desktop, go to show more options. Now it is showing here, open Git bash here, open Git GUI here, right? So once it is successfully installed, we can see this two options, right? Yeah. Now, once we install Git, after that, what we have to do? Now let's try to understand. Git workflow. In Git workflow, in Git workflow, whenever normally once developer joined the project, what they will do, they create one workspace. What is workspace? Where we start our work, like it is a normal folder. In laptop or desktop, they create one normal folder, right? Yeah, this is a local workspace. So Git and GitHub both are developer tools. Git and GitHub both are developer tools, right? So we need to understand the concept, but we don't need to involve into the Git and GitHub, right? So Git and GitHub completely developer tools. Developer always work on the local Git. Once development is completed, they push the code to GitHub. Our role starts from Jenkins, but we need to understand the concept in Git. We'll get the interview questions on Git, right? That is why, so whatever the activities developers perform, the same activity we need to perform here, and we need to understand. While attending interviews, while working on any deployment activities, we need to coordinate with the developers. So while attending interviews, interviewer asks the questions on Git. While working on any deployment activities, we need to coordinate with the developers. That is why we need to understand the Git concepts, right? Yeah. So Git is completely developer tool. We don't need to involve into the Git activities in real-time projects. But here we need to understand. Okay. Yeah. In Git workflow, this is the local workspace. Workspace is a just like folder, normal folder. Developer, once developer joined the project, what they will do? they create one folder, right? This folder they can convert into local repository. Normal folder, developer, what they will do, they convert into repository, local repository. How can they convert into local repository? So how can they initialize? So command here is git init is the command. Git init is the command to initialize empty git repository. To initialize empty git repository, command here is git init. Okay. Once we initialize, immediately we need to create one user. Why we require user? What is the importance of user? To track the changes. To track the changes, right? Version control track the changes, right? For tracking, we required one user, right? So how to create a user? First time we need to create one user. Yeah. So the command here is git config space hyphen global user dot name. Within the double quotes, we need to give the username. Whatever user you want to give, you can give. Right? First time only we need to create one user. That is mainly for tracking. Okay. Yeah. After that, we need to create one email address also. Email also. Git config space hyphen global user dot email space within the double quotes. We need to give the email also. Right. Yeah. After that, if you want to check the user, previous user, right? Git config space hyphen list. So if you give this command, third command, you can see the user which we already created, right? So one workspace, one user only. One workspace, one user. One laptop, one user. One desktop, one user. So for example, developers. We are developers, for example. Every developer is having their own laptop, right? In that, they create one user. But in real-time projects, we don't need to create the user. In real-time projects, we don't need to create the user. We always use the LDAP user. What is LDAP, anyone? Real-time guys? In real-time projects, we use the LDAP user. What is LDAP? Anyone having idea? Real-time guys. What is LDAP, anyone? Once we join to the project, yeah, local IT team, they create one user, they give it to you. That is LDAP user, which is alias user. By using that user, we can log in into all the applications. Yeah, so lightweight directory access protocol. LDAP full form is lightweight directory access protocol, right? So which is, yeah, normally in real-time projects, always use this. This user we can configure as a IAM user, right? Yeah, lightweight directory access protocol. LDAP full form is lightweight directory access protocol. So which is alias user. We can say domain user also, right? In real-time projects, once you join to the project, you'll get the user, right? In real-time projects, always use the LDAP user. Fine. So once we create the user, after that, next development should be started. Developer start the development, right? Now, what we will do, I create one workspace. So this is completely developer activity. Okay, don't confuse. We don't need to worry about, but we need to understand the process. Okay, yeah. So here we can give local workspace. This is the local workspace, which is a local folder, right? So open the folder. Now this is empty folder. This is normal folder, empty folder, right? So in this folder, if I copy any files, if I modify any files, if I delete any files, those changes will be tracked or not. In this normal folder, I I want to add some files, I want to remove the files, I want to modify the files. Those changes will be tracked or not. You know, real time guys. In normal folder, can we track the changes? For example, you created one folder in your system. You added some files, you remove some files, you modify some files. Those changes will be tracked or not. Real time guys. Because normal folder. In normal folder, those changes will not be tracked. Okay. So that is why what we have to do, this normal folder, we need to initialize as a local repository, for which open the folder, right click on this folder, inside of this folder, right click here, show more options, click on git bash here. Git bash is the CLI, git GUI is the graphical user interface, right? So in real-time projects, always use the bash CLI. We don't use the GUI. GUI will be disabled. In our test environment, we enable the both, right? But in real-time projects, always use the bash, which is CLI. So click on open the git bash here. Now git bash open here. Now I want to initialize as a local repository. For which command is, what is the command? Git init is the command to initialize empty git repository. Enter. Now look at this, everyone. Initialized empty git repository. Initialized empty git repository. So one .git file is created here. One .git file is created inside of the folder. Look at this, everyone. So .git file is created. Now it is successfully initialized. The .git file is not visible to you. What we have to do? Go to view and click on show and check the hidden items. Sometimes it will be hidden. So if you want to check that, you can, yeah, if you want to, once you initialize, if you want to see the .git file, you need to go to the view, show here, check this hidden items so that it will show you, right? Now, once we initialize, after that, development should be started. Developer start the development. How they start the development? VI, by using VI only. VI file.txt, right? They create a file. In that file, they add something, they modify something, they change something, okay? VI file.txt. So in this file, they add something. Once they add something here, if they check git status, the file will show you in red color. Red color means still development is going on, right? So don't confuse here. First time, little confusion, right? So entire Git and GitHub. So every day we execute these commands. So coming 3 days, coming 2 days or 3 days. Okay. We'll work on this Git. Now what I will do, vi file.txt. Enter. Now insert, click on I. We already learned vi, right? Yeah, click on I to change the insert mode. So here I want to add something. This is my first program. Something, I just want to write something for understanding. Developers, what they will do, they develop the code here. Just enter the text. But developers, what they will do, they write the code, HTML code or Java code or Python, whatever. Okay. Escape, shift colon, double click, save and quit. Once you save this, if you check here, git status, the file is showing which color? Red. So means still development is going on. Development is going on. Okay. Yeah. So once the development is completed, what they will do, developers, what they will do, they move the code to the Git workflow. Once development is completed, they move the code to staging area. Staging area or index area. Staging area or index area. In local workspace, once development is completed, the code should be moved to staging area, right? What is staging area? Explain. Wait for some minute, wait for a few minutes. Yeah. So if you want to move the code from local workspace to staging area, the command here is git add space file name file.txt. Git add space file name file.txt. right? So once we add into staging area, the file will show you. If you check the git status, the file will show you. The file shows you in green color. Green color. So in local workspace, it will show you red color. Once we move the code to staging area, it will show you the green color. So if the file is showing green color, development is completed. It is ready to commit. Development is completed, ready to commit. Okay. Yeah. So once we move the code to staging area, from staging area, if you want to revert back to local workspace, how can we revert back? I'll show you practically. Now, the file is in local workspace, right? Now I want to move the file to staging area, for which command here is git add space file.txt, file name, enter. Now the file is moved to staging area. Now if you check git status, what is the color? Green color. Now the file is moved to staging area. Now it is ready to commit, right? Yeah. So once we move the file to staging area, if you want to revert back to local workspace, how can we revert back to local workspace? This is the command. Look at this, everyone. Git space rm space hyphen hyphen cached file name, right? You want to move back to local workspace. This is the command. Git rm space hyphen hyphen cache space file name. Enter. Git rm space hyphen hyphen cache file name. The file is showing red color. The file is moved back to local workspace, right? Yeah. Again, if you want to modify the code, you can modify, right? So vi file.txt insert. Yeah. Something you can add here, second change. So this is a just example. Okay, developers, what they will do once they move the code to staging area, again they revert back to local workspace. They add something, they modify something. Okay, same activity you are performing here, but this is not code, not real code. While working on Jenkins, I'll show you real code. While working on Jenkins, I'll show you real code. Someone developed that code. I took the code, I added it to the repository. I'll show you that, right? We are not developers. We don't need to worry about the coding part. We are not developers, right? We don't do develop. We don't do any coding. We don't do any develop. We don't do any development. We don't need to involve into the development part, right? Escape, save and quit. Now, once we change something, escape, save and quit. Shift colon W. So after that, if you check here Git status, still the file is showing in red color. Now we need to move the file to ఎక్కడ మూవ్ చేస్తాం staging, right? So how can we move the file to staging area? It add space file name, or else you can use the something you are saying, right? Yeah, if you want to move the only the respective file, we can give the file name. If you want to move all the files to staging area, for example, 10 files are there. If you want to move all the files to the staging area, you can give dot, right? So if you want to move the single file, you can give the file name. If you want to move all the files, you can use the dot, enter. Now the file is moved to staging area. Now if you check git status, look at this. Now the file is showing green color. Yeah, online students, everyone following, right? Online guys, everyone following, right? Don't confuse. This is not our activity. So in real time projects, yeah, developers, they always work on the local git, they develop the code. How did we get the git bash? అలా వస్తుంది చెప్పేదా చెప్పారండి. I explained, right? What you are doing, Abdul? You need to install Git, right? Abdul Wahid, how can we get the Git bash? Just go through the recording. You will understand, right? Clear, right? Abdul, are you there? Just go through the recording, how to install configure Git. I explained already. Yeah. Now, once we move to staging area, after that, the file should be commit. That file should be moved to commit area. So now, next what we will do, from staging area, the file should be moved to commit area. What is commit area? So this is commit area or git local. Sorry. Yes, git local. Commit area or git local. This is commit area or git local. So this is git local, right? Git local, right? Before git local, we have two stages. What are those? Staging area, local workspace, right? Yeah. So wait for some time, I explain that again. Yeah. So once we move the code to staging area, so the code should be committed. How can we commit the code? Command here is yes, git commit. After that, hyphen m space commit message. Meaningful message we need to give. Commit message, meaningful message we need to give here. So why we required this commit message? Why we require this commit message? So once we commit the code, then tracking will be started, right? Yeah. So here the command here is git commit hyphen m and a meaningful message we need to give commit message. Now go back here. Git commit hyphen m commit message. I can give first program something. Enter. So once I commit this, if you check here git log, now it is showing who did changes, when did changes, what purpose did changes. So I already created a user. That is why I did not create the user. Only one works. Yeah, one workspace, one user only. If you try to create one more user, what will happen? Old user will be gone. That will be overwrite. I already created the user here. That is why it is showing the user. So here I did not create the user, right? I just gave the commands here to create the user. So if you want to check the list of users, what is the command? Git config space hyphen hyphen. Look at this, everyone. This is the user, my user. If I create one more user, this user will be gone. Email address and user. If I create one more user, this will be gone. I'll show you one more time. Okay. Wait for a few minutes. I'll create one more user. You can understand that. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Now, I just committed the code, right? Once I commit the code, if you check here git log, you check the git log, it will show you who did changes, when did changes, what purpose did changes. Yesterday we discussed, right? Git is a repository tool or version control tool. By using version control, we can track the changes. So here, now one commit ID generated here. Look at this, everyone. Commit ID generated. And who did changes? Ram did changes. When did changes? Friday, March 21, 21st, 7:41, it did some changes. What purpose did it changes? Due to something you are saying, is saying something, first program. Saying something, first program, right? So based on these comments, Git will track the changes. Once we commit the code, yeah, git start the tracking. Version control, by using version control, it track the changes. Clear, right, everyone? Understanding, right, everyone? Any questions up here, anyone? Anyone having any questions up here? Right. So here, this is git local. This is also git local. Before git local, we have two stages: staging area and also local workspace. So this is staging area and this is local workspace. This is local workspace. This is staging area. Right? Understanding, right, everyone? Now the code is in local git here. Next, what we have to do? Yes. This code should be moved to remote repository. Everyone understanding, right? Up to here it is clear, right, everyone? I repeat it one more time. I repeat this one more time. Online students. Can I repeat it one more time? Can I repeat this one more time, online students? Right. Yeah. Now, this is completely developer activity. We don't need to worry about this. Okay. But we need to understand the flow. We need to understand the process, right? Yeah. Now, what I will do, first of all, yeah, one new developer joined the project. One new developer joined the project. What he need to do? He need to create one workspace, right? So workspace is a just like normal folder, right? He created the workspace. Once he create the workspace, next what is the next step here? First, we need to open the git bash here, right? So open the folder, right click here. Abdul, look at this. Abdul, show more options. Click on git bash here. Once we install git, this git bash will be available, right? So click on git bash here. Once you open the git bash here, next, what is the command? Git init is the command to initialize empty git repository. Enter. Now it is successfully initialized, right? Empty git repository. Once we initialize, immediately what we have to do? We need to create one user, right? So I already created user. If I create one more user, what will happen? Yes, now I want to create a user. Look at this simple. Git config space hyphen hyphen global user dot name space within the double quotes. Okay, you need to give the username. Ram user already there. I want to give one more user, Rama user. Enter. Now user created here. So next what we have to do? Next step. We need to create email address also, right? Yeah, same command. You can change here email address also, right? Enter. Now the user created, email address also created. Now if you want to check the user, what is the command? Look at this everyone. User has been changed, right? Earlier it was Ram user. Now it is Rama user. If you create one more user, what will happen? This will be gone. This will be gone. User, yeah, user will be assigned here. Understanding, right, everyone? Abdul, you understand, right? Right. Next one. So once we create the user, next, what is the next step here? Development should be started, right? Vi code.txt, for example, file name. Enter. I Hi, this is my development action. Escape, save and quit. Enter. Now the file is saved. Once the file is saved, if you check the git status, the file is showing red color. Means still development is going on, right? Once development is completed, what we have to do? Once development is completed, what developers will do? Yeah, staging area. We need to move the code to staging area. What are the command we use? Git add file name if you want to move the respective file. Or else if you want to move all the files, you can use the dot. Enter. Now the file is moved to staging area. Now if you check git status, the file is showing green color, right? If you want to revert back to previous state, git rm space hyphen hyphen patched space file name code.txt. Now if you check here git status, the file is showing red color. Once you move the code to local workspace, you add something to modify something, right? Vi code.txt. So here you can add something, insert, escape, save and quit, right? Now if you check git status, the file is showing red color. So once it is, once you modify the code, again you can move the code to staging area. Git add space dot. Once the code is moved to staging area, if you check git status, the file is showing green color. After that, what we have to do? Commit the code, right? What is the command we use to commit the code? Git commit hyphen m. Within the double quotes, we need to give the commit message, meaningful message, right? Yeah. New development, something. Enter. Now the code is committed. Now if you check git log here, who did changes, when did changes, what purpose did changes. The tracking should be, the tracking will be started with the commit ID. This is the commit ID, right? Understanding right, everyone? Clear, right, everyone? This is the actual development process. Every developer should follow. Every company, every project team, they're following the same steps, same workflow, right? Someone asking some question here. What will happen to the workspace of old user if you create a user? No, actually, only one-time job. User creation, only one-time job, first time only. You should not create the users again and again. One time only. I created long back. That user I'm using. I just wanted to show you how to create the new user. That is why I created the user. But in real-time projects, only one user, one workspace. Should not change the user. Should not change the user. Keep on. If you change the user, what will happen? The tracking will be missed. That is not recommended way. Normally in real-time projects, we don't need to create the user. Which user we use? LDAP user, lightweight directory access protocol user. So that user will get from the local IT team. That user we can use. Understand, right? Mayur. One workspace, one user only. Should not recreate the users. If you create multiple times, that is not recommended, right? That is the security balance. Should not create that. Okay. Yeah. Now, next step. What is the next process? Anyone? What is the next process? The code is in local Git currently. This code should be moved to remote repository, which is GitHub, right? So if you want to move this code from local to remote repository, first of all, we require remote server, remote repository required, right? So now So we can create a new account, GitHub account. So for which, go to the browser, go to github.com. Enter github.com is the URL for remote server. Enter. Look at this, everyone. This is my GitHub account. These are the different batches since long 93, 92, 91, 89, like this. So many batches since long. If you check here in the down, show more. If you click on, check this. This was created in, look at this date, 2016. This repository created in 2016, right? This repository created in 2018, 2018, 2018. Old repositories, 2019. Very old repositories, right? Yeah. First of all, if you want to create, if you want to push the code from Git local to remote repository, we need to create one GitHub account first. GitHub account. We need to sign up GitHub account. After that, instead of the GitHub account, we need to create one repository, right? So how can we sign up the GitHub account? Let's try to understand. How can we sign up? I just want, this is my GitHub account. I already saved my credentials. That is why I could log in directly, right? So click here, sign out. Yeah, first time when you open github.com, the page will be open like this. First time. Someone prepare the resume in that GitHub account you gave, right? You have GitHub account already? Right, good. Fine. So how to sign up the GitHub account? Yeah, once you open this page, click on sign up. Click on sign up. Now you need to provide your email address and password, right? So username, email address, password, username we need to provide. Okay. So click on continue. Click on continue. So email address required here. So click on continue. Go next. It will ask you to provide your personal information, your phone number or your details. Go next, 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 finish. This is very simple, like Gmail account. How can we get the Gmail account? Same steps. We follow this. It is very simple, very easy, right? Yeah, once we create the GitHub account, again go to the same URL, github.com. So click on sign in. Once you create the sign up, once you sign up, click on sign in. Now it is asking you to give the username or email address. You can provide the username and password. Click on sign in. Once you sign in, yeah, it will ask you to provide the authentication code. Like in AWS account, while logging into the account, it is asking, right? Same way we need to enable the authenticator, Google Authenticator, right? You need to check the authenticator, open the Google Authenticator, and you can take the 6-digit number here. You can enter here. This is mainly for security. 113 348. 348. Yeah. Now I'm able to log in my GitHub account. So these are all repositories available, old repositories. Now I want to create new repository. How can we create the new repository? Click on new or else go to right top corner. There is a plus symbol. Click on this. Now click on new repository. Click on this. Now you can give the repository name, right? DevOps with AWS 7 a.m. Something I'm giving, Amirpet, AMPT, some short name for easy understand. I have so many repositories at that time. I think with this name, I don't have any repositories, but for easy understanding, I'm giving like this. Okay. Yeah. Once you give the name, so here we have two options: public repository, private repository, right? So this is public repository. This is public repository. I'm going to create. Public repository is the free of cost. Private repository is not free of cost. In real-time projects, always we use the private repository. Private repository required credit card information. Public repository free of cost. Private repository is more secure. Public repository not secure. My repository can access. Your repository can access. How to access, I'll show you. Okay. Yeah. Select public only. Description is optional. No need to give anything. Go down here. Click on create repository. Now the repository is created. Look at this. This is my new repository. So once we create the repository, after that, what we have to do? We need to integrate GitHub with the Git local. GitHub, Git local, we need to integrate. We need to establish the connection between local Git and remote repository. So after that only, we can push the code from local to remote. Understanding, right, everyone? So here we have Git local. This is the Git local. This is the GitHub remote repository. So if you want to push the code from local Git to remote repository, first of all, what we have to do? We need to establish the connection between local and remote. That is integration, right? How can we integrate? Command here is git remote add origin. Origin is the variable. Origin is the variable. What is variable anymore? What is variable anymore? Value, value holder, right? So origin is the standard name. In place of origin, you can give your name also. But that is not recommended way. In real-time projects, always use the standard names. Origin. Git remote add origin space remote repository URL. This is the remote repository URL. Okay, copy this and paste here. Git remote add origin remote repository URL to establish the connection between local and remote is the command, right? Yeah. After that, if you want to push the code to remote repository, git push -u origin to master. What is master? Anyone real time, guys? Right. Master is a master branch. Master branch, which is a main branch. Branching strategies we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. What is branch? Why we require branch? So how many branches we use in real-time projects? How can we manage the branches? We'll discuss tomorrow. Right. So git push -u origin to master. What is origin? Origin is the variable. In this origin, this URL is available. We store the URL in the origin. That is why git push -u origin to master, right? Once we push the code to, yeah, once we execute this command, what will happen? In remote repository, one master branch will be created. In that master branch, the code will be pushed to the remote, right? Before that, once we establish the connection between local and remote, after that, if you check here, git remote, git remote. If you check git remote, right, it will show you origin, origin. So because the remote repository URL stored in the variable, which is origin. So after that, we can execute the command git push -u origin to master. Understanding, right, everyone? Is it clear to you, everyone? Online? Any questions you can ask me before pushing the code to remote repository. I give you unmute option. So you can raise your hand. Anyone having any questions? You can raise your hand. After that, we can push the code to remote repository. Online guys, you can raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay, fine. Yeah. Now I want to establish the connection between local and remote. Right. I already created the remote repository. Right. Now I want to establish the connection between local and remote. How can we establish the connection? Command here is git remote add space origin. Origin is the variable space remote repository URL. Copy this, paste here, enter. Now the connection is established between local and remote. Understanding that, everyone? Yeah. After that, git push. Yeah. Currently, we have a file which is code.txt. This file I want to push to the GitHub. Git push -u origin to master. Now the code is pushing. Now the code is pushed. Right? Once the code is pushed, go back to remote server, remote repository. Now we can refresh here. Question you now the code is available, right? In remote repository. This is a repository. Now the code.txt available. Open this file. In this file, this is the code. This is not real code. This is not real code. Just normal text for practice. Okay. In real-time projects, developer develop the real code. Right. So the same code is available in the local Git also, right? Cat code.txt. Look at this. Same code is available, right? This is development activity, new change. Okay. Same code is available in the GitHub also. Yes, developers they push manual. With automation also, I'll show you. Wait for some time. Initially, they push manually. Okay. Once the code is pushed to remote repository, Jenkins automatically take. Don't need to. Yeah. So Git and GitHub. First, we need to understand. After that, I'll show you automation. Okay. How can we automate this? I'll show you. Without CLI, can I push? Yeah, Git desktop also there. Git desktop also there. By using that also can perform, but that is not recommended way. That is not recommended way. Someone asking some question here. How to push all of them at once? You can use the dot. You can use the dot. In real time, we will have multiple files in a Java project. Yes, you can use the dot. You can use the dot. Okay, multiple files at a time you can push. How can we push? First we need to add into staging. After that, we can push, yeah, git push -u origin to master. All the file will be pushed. Okay. So now I'll show you a real code. Is it clear to everyone? Up to here it is clear, right? Now, normally developers develop the code in their local Git, right? So someone developed the code in, someone developed the HTML code. That code I took and I added into my GitHub account, which is simple web app is the repository. Open this. Yeah, this is the real code I'll show you now. Click on web app. Click on src source. Click on index.jsp. Look at this. This is the real code, HTML code. Normally, to develop the front end UI, developers they use the HTML, right? So here, the name, for testing, we give Flipkart shopping website, right? So here, style, HTML, body, like this. So menu, section, home page, about, product, pricing, contact. While working on Jenkins, we can deploy this code. While working on Jenkins, we can deploy this code, right? Yeah, this code you can take from my account to your account. How can you take that? How can you add this repository into your account? I'll show you once we start working on the Jenkins. For testing, we can use this code for testing, for deployments, for configurations. We use this code. Someone developed this. One more code is there. One more code is there, which is another code, Java code. Game of life. Game of life. This is a real game code. This is a real game code. Someone developed this code. Open this. Look at this one. Right? Someone developed this. Developers develop this code. We can deploy this code. We don't need to involve into this code, this line, this line. This, don't need to worry about this. Okay. Developer develop the code. That code we can deploy onto respect to target servers as a DevOps tool by using DevOps tools. Clear, right? Understand, right, everyone? This is the code we can use. So if you want to add this repository to your GitHub account, what do you have to do? Not exactly cloning. So you can go and search simple web app. First, you can search this name. After that, you can check that and you can search simple web app. So that my repository, you can get my repository. After that, so open this, click on that repository, click on fork. Once you click on fork, my repository will be attached to your GitHub account. I'll show you while working on Jenkins. Okay. I'll show you while working on Jenkins. I give you the URL. You can easily add into your GitHub account. Okay. I'll show you. Any questions now? Anyone having any questions? Up here, it is clear, right, everyone? This flow is very, very important. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about branching strategies. Before going to discuss about branching strategies, make sure everyone practice this. If you understand this flow, you can easily understand the branching strategies, right? So first you need to understand this flow, Git workflow. When we fork and when we clone, wait for some time. Definitely I'll show you, right? Definitely I'll show you. If I explain right away, you'll be confused. How to clone, how to fork, I'll show you. Wait for some time. How to give approvers other roles. Yeah. So I'll show you. Wait for some time. So if I explain right away, definitely you'll confused, right? So yeah, first session you need to understand first. You need to practice first. After that, so coming 2 or 3 days, coming 2 to 3 days, I will work on the same Git and GitHub. Okay. So we'll go very deep dive, right? So first you need to understand this workflow. After that, we can work on different activities. How to get remote repo to local space. Okay, we need to pull the code from remote repos to local. We need to pull the code from remote repos to local. That I'll show you tomorrow. Once complete the branching strategies. Okay. So yeah, this is a little confusion, right? First session. Everyone practice. Everyone make sure everyone practice. Once you practice, one by one, step by step will go. So how to give approvals, definitely I'll show you. Definitely I'll show you. Wait for some time. Maybe tomorrow or Monday I'll show you how to give approval. Okay, normally developers once they're trying to merge the code to remote server, it will it will give it will ask you to approve from the lead, right? So how can we approve? Lead review the code. he approve. How to approve that, I'll show you. Okay. Wait for some time. So maybe tomorrow or Monday. Yeah. Venkatesh, you can ask your question. Venkatesh, you can ask your question. I gave unmute. You can click on unmute and you can ask a question.
Sir, Man, sir.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, what is the role involved for the DevOps guy in this process, sir?
Right. So DevOps is what they will do. Sometimes developers they do mistakes, right? While filling the code, while pushing the code, they get some errors, issues. By the time we need to guide them, the connection establishment, and we need to guide the process, Git workflow. For example, when any new developer joins the project, we need to give the KT, KT, not development KT, the process, right? So once a new developer joined the project, we need to give the KT like first you need to create the workspace. After that, you need to visualize as a local repository. After that, you need to pull the latest code from remote to local. So on top of that, you need to start the development. That KT we need to explain. That I'll show you tomorrow. Tomorrow, how to give the KT, how can we explain the process, how we need to start the development. Developer. That I explain tomorrow. So every developer, every project team following the same workflow, right? We'll see that tomorrow. How to, yeah. So our role starts from Jenkins onwards, Jenkins. But in Git, we need to guide them, the process. We need to understand the process. We don't need to involve into the coding part. We are not developers, right? Understand, right, Venkatesh?
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? Developer push the code to remote repository. Yes, correct. Developer only push the code to remote repository. From remote repository, by using Jenkins, we can trigger the jobs. We can run the jobs. The code will be pulled from GitHub to Jenkins. After that, it will convert into one WAR file, jar file, ER file. That WAR file we can push to the respective target servers and we can deploy the WAR file onto respective target servers. What is the role involved for a DevOps guy in this process? Okay. In this process, Git and GitHub, we need to guide them. We need to give the KT. We need to explain the process in the Git and GitHub. You don't need to involve into the coding part. Fine? Yeah. Make sure everyone practice this. Tomorrow, we'll discuss about branching strategies and how developers start the development, right? How can we guide them? How can we give the KT? And how to pull the code from remote to local? How they start the development on top of the latest code, right? These are all we'll discuss tomorrow. I explain real-time scenarios also. 4 real-time scenarios are there. Interview questions also. Tomorrow we'll work on that. Clear, right, everyone? So classroom guys, everyone is having online link, right? Online link is there. Everyone, online meeting link. No, only classroom. You're not attending online. Okay. So tomorrow, can you attend online? Tomorrow, only one day. Yeah, you can post in the Telegram group. You can ask in the Telegram group. You'll get the link. Tomorrow, only one day. Classroom guys can attend online. Only one day. Monday onwards, you can come back. Okay. మీరు ఆప్ చేసుకున్నారా డెవాప్స్ కూడా ఓకే అదే మీరు ఆప్ చేసుకున్నారు కూడా మీరు ఒకసారి చెక్ చేయండి అడ్మిన్తో మాట్లాడండి ఇట్లాంటి ఇక్కడ ఆప్ చేసుకొని చేసుకోండి లేదంటే ఇక్కడ టాప్ మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళు చెక్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు వచ్చి వీటిలో క్లాస్ మధ్యలో వచ్చి చెక్ చేస్తే మన బాబాయ్ Yeah, so we can wind up here. If you have any questions while creating GitHub account or while pushing the code from local to remote repository, you can take the screenshot and post into the Telegram group. While practicing, if you are facing any issues, while pushing the code, while creating the GitHub account, while connecting the local to remote, if you are facing any issues, you can take the screenshot and post into the group so that I'll give you guidance. Online guys. Clear, right, everyone? Make sure everyone practice this. This session is very, very important session. Okay. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll discuss about branching strategies and also 4 real-time scenarios. So tomorrow classroom guys can attend the online session. Tomorrow only one day. Think okay? Problem one day. So only one day. Tomorrow only one day. Yeah. Uma Maheshwara. Do we have a separate telegram? No, same group. Same telegram group. No separate group. Only one group. Fine. Yeah. We can wind up here. Yeah. Thank you all.